On the Edge. Welcome to On the Edge, a podcast about table tennis and, that little white ball that goes so fast. I'm Marie Migo, a professional table tennis player, and I want to put the spotlight on the personalities involved in the sport and share the stories. Whether they are players, trainers, coaches, therapists, or even more, I'm letting their voices guide us through their careers, their difficulties, and their differences. Yes, I deeply believe that each of us has something unique to give. So get ready to open your ears wide and bon voyage!
I think the slow has to, the change has to happen from the bottom of the pyramid. We cannot artificially expect to have women at the top if there are not that many women participating. Yeah. Although I think also one good thing is that we could give visibility to all these women that they are leading our sport, like Petra Sorling, the president of the ITTF, or many others who are in positions of power, to also make you believe that this is possible.
It's time to come back. I'm delighted to welcome Galia Dvorak, four-time Olympian and now working for the European Table Tennis Union. She's a strong woman with who I really enjoy talking about life. Determined and always in search of her own power, she fights for her convictions. We also talk about being a woman in sport, the challenges to be overcome, whether personal or imposed by society. This episode was recorded after Olympic Games, after 3 weeks of hard work, so it was a very tired me and also tired Galia. La 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 la. Can you try the mic, please?
Hello, Marie Migo. I cannot stop singing this.
No, I cannot stop to sing.
Freed from desire.
No, 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 freed of desire.
It's unbelievable.
It's so good, so it's working well.
So like this, here, or should I get closer?
You can stay where you are.
I stay where I am.
Yes. If you touch this, I hear directly everything.
Okay, so I don't touch this.
So don't touch this.
Okay, I will try, but maybe I want to grab the microphone and sing. Yes, better not.
It's time to start. I didn't do it now for more than 3 months, so I'm a bit nervous.
I'm a bit nervous too, because it's the first time I'm in a podcast.
Yes, and like to go a bit deeper than usual and to sit face to face and to have silence around, it's something like, different than conversation in the street or in the restaurant, So yeah, we will do it good. So who are you?
So my name is Galia Dvorak. I'm a former table tennis player. And now I still work in table tennis.
You were in Olympic Games now?
Yes, I was in Olympic Games. I actually saw you during these Olympic Games.
But not as a player?
Not as a player anymore. This is the first time that I was at Olympic Games working. I was not working directly for table tennis, but at table tennis I worked for OBS, which is Olympic Broadcasting Services. And there I was basically helping with everything a little bit.
Yeah. How many Olympic Games did you play since?
I played 4 times.
4 times.
Yeah.
And how were these ones compared to when you were playing?
I think this is the first time that I could actually see Olympics, because before I lived Olympics, but when you are an athlete or like a player, you are very self-centered. So you see what you are living. Or at least it was the case for me also. You're very focused, no? So my experience of Olympics was the village, the food, my matches, and just a little bit more, not much. Here this time, I had a completely different experience. Of course, I didn't see the village or the food at the village. I didn't compete, but I could watch games. I could follow other sports. I could see everything that is behind. I could even feel the atmosphere of the Olympics, because in the other times, I was so focused in what I had to do, because although I had no chance to have a big result, I was never aiming for a medal, but still you go there and you want to perform. So I was so focused in that that I think I missed all this big part, which is super nice.
But like as a player, you were, you said you were very focused, but you were like that as a player, like you were all the time like this, right?
Yeah, I think it's my personality. Like when I do things, I like to do them well. And I get lost into it because I forget about everything else.
Yeah. So too much, too focused.
I think so. I think so. And sometimes, of course, it's a productive thing, because when I'm too focused in something, I can get a lot done. But also, it's not so good in some areas because I forget about what's around me, and even sometimes maybe my family or friends.
Yeah. So like, why you think that you were too focused? Like my experience, I was also too focused, and I also forget like life kind of. And I discover life, and it's so good, you know. And I'm extrovert, and I like to share with the people. And when you're in your bubble, you forget many things. So I know the reason why somehow, because I wanted I'm too perfect, and I wanted perfection, and this is what I've learned from my family, I guess, from the coaches I had in the past. But what's your story, or what you think?
I think for me it's a combination a bit of what is my natural personality. It's who I am. As I was saying, I like to do things a little bit like you. I want to be perfect. I want to, or not to be perfect, but to give my 100%. To me, if I'm doing something and then I was not really there, I would regret it. So if I'm at the Olympics competing, I want to be at the Olympics competing. This is, I think, one part. But of course, the other part is the education that I received. No, my parents, they are former table tennis players from the Soviet Union, and this is what they taught me. You have to be focused. So it's what I do.
So you arrived in Spain. You were 2 years old.
Yes, I was a little less than 2 years old. I was almost 2 years old. My parents, they both met in the Soviet Union national team. My dad was a player from Ukraine. My mom, she was from Kazakhstan.
So they both played like on the good level?
Yes, my dad, he was bronze medalist in world championships in team.
I didn't know.
Yes, my dad, yeah.
Oh, wow, I understand now. Okay.
Yeah, but my dad, he was like super good, 60 in the world ranking, like, and also all this playing very little tournaments, very few tournaments.
Yeah.
And my mom, she was very, very good too. She was European singles cadet champion, but of course she got married young and had me very young, so she never played for a long time in senior. So, but they were both professional, strong players. So what is funny is that my dad, now that you said so, my dad was a known player, or like a famous player. And here, talking to a person, I will not say who, this person didn't know me as a player, but I said my name, Galia Dvorak. He said, no, yeah, but your husband is a strong player. I'm like, not my husband, my dad.
All right. So you played because of them, or you started because you like table tennis? Like, how did you start? Because my dad was playing before, so I also started because of him, but not because I had to play, just because it was fun. But why did you start to play?
So you're lucky that you played because it was fun.
Yeah,
I played because I had no choice.
You had no choice.
I had no choice. I mean, and this now sounded like little bad, but you imagine, like, my parents, they are immigrants from Soviet Union in Spain.
Yes.
And the thing that they know very well is table tennis. So they gave me a racket and said, girl, now you play, you know?
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you played?
I played. I didn't hate it, because I didn't hate it. I really like to win and to be good. But I didn't like to practice, like, at all.
So you like more the matches?
Yes. When I was younger, I loved the matches. I loved the competition, and I loved to win. But practicing was insanely boring for me. And also, I think one of the reasons, it was because I was never part of a group, or like, although I practiced in clubs, it was mostly me practicing with my parents. So this was no fun at all. And it was, from the beginning, it was practice to be good. It was not practice to learn, to play, to whatever. No.
The opposite of what I had.
Yeah, but I'm so jealous to hear that.
Yeah.
So you started to play for fun.
Yeah. I mean, my dad was playing, and I had a racket in my hand, and And that's all, you know. I just kept playing, but I loved it.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved the game, and I didn't like to compete.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit opposite of you. I like to practice.
So you never started liking to compete?
Maybe at some point, but more I liked when I had to prove and when I succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
But if I didn't have anything to prove, I didn't really care.
Okay.
And my behavior was, I don't care. And then the coach, he said, come on, you have to show something. You have to say cho, you have to be more aggressive and more. But that was not me.
It was not coming naturally.
Not at all. And I was 10 and I was like, okay, I have to do this because they tell me I have to be like that, you know. But I hated that.
Okay.
Really.
When I was little, for me, they were also telling me to be aggressive and cho and all these things. And I was quite shy to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I was a little bit ashamed. Also because you want to be, for me, it was like I wanted to be a cool kid. Okay. And the cool kids, they don't show that they are fighting. Why I had to show that? Yeah. But eventually, when I started to grow older, this was no problem to me, like to show the emotions, to fight and all this. And for me, what happened, what is I think a quite funny story, eventually I started to really like table tennis and to practice and to enjoy.
Yes, because I always heard you saying that you love table tennis.
I love table tennis, but
so I'm surprised that your dad told you that you have to play, like you have no choice to play, I mean.
I think I started to like table tennis when table tennis became a choice to me. So I think till age of 20, I was playing because I had to. And then somehow a little bit after Beijing Olympics and starting to go to university and seeing that there were so many things that I could do. And I started to try to do other things. And I was like, oh no, but I actually would prefer to play table tennis. And also what made a big difference for me, it was to meet people that really like table tennis. Because I could see table tennis through their eyes, and that made me like table tennis. Because for me, I saw only table tennis through the eyes of my parents, and for them it was their job. Like, I think my mom, she has a lot of passion for table tennis, but my dad, he has passion for table tennis, but not for his own table tennis, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay.
So you were always combining school and table tennis?
Yes. Because that's also another thing, like, of being a daughter of immigrant parents, Soviet Union, in living far from home, is that I had to be good in table tennis, but I also had to be the best in school. Yeah. You know, so I finished high school normal. I never lived in a training center like in SEP or in Spain in Car. I was practicing in my club, but also I was lucky that I had a very strong club with strong players, foreigners. There was this Chinese girl that she was like super good, so I had people to practice in my club. It was high level, but still I was not in a high performance center. So I went to high school, and then I was also quite lucky that there was a university quite close to my home, so I went to university and I was going daily to classes like normal people.
Like, you know? From 8 to...
Actually, no, I was studying in the evenings.
Okay.
So, because I chose the evenings part, because like this, it was much easier to fit to practices. So I would practice in the morning, I don't know, from 8 to 10 or 8 to 11, then lunch, whatever, then practice from 4 to 5:30 or whatever, and then study university from 6, I think it was till 10, 20, it was like super late. And then I would still go home and do homework or be just in Messenger talking to my friends.
And in this time, how you felt?
Exhausted, but also I was 20, 21 and I had a lot of energy. If I think about this now, I think it's impossible. But back then, I was doing it. You don't realize, right? You don't realize, you just do it. Yeah. And I was doing it.
So when did you start that? When did you start to feel like, okay, this is becoming my passion?
Yeah, I think it was not one concrete moment that made the difference. It started to happen. It happened slowly to me, but I think around of the age of 24, 25. Also, something that was very fun for me is when I started to play the French league. This was quite interesting because I played many years the Spain league, and Spanish league for me was not so fun because you have many matches that are boring, that they are too easy, And then suddenly a few matches that they are interesting.
Yeah.
And what was super fun in French league is that every Tuesday I would play against a team that is like me or stronger.
So
And you have these matches that, and you don't, in league, although you want to perform and play good for your club, I had this good environment that it was really no pressure. So it was like, if you lose, it's okay. If you win, it's a party.
Yeah.
So it was, that also made me kind of like table tennis more, because if I think about the tour and playing all these pro tours, and at the end it was also already VTTs, it's quite frustrating.
It was already VTT when you stopped?
Oh yes, VTT
yes?
is longer there than we think. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I played just a
yes.
few. I played 4 of them or whatever. But yes, I played some VTTs. But what I mean that it's frustrating, because you go to tournaments that you know that you cannot win. And it's just there to hope to have a good draw. Let's see if I can win 1 or 2 matches, counting the ranking. That's not so rewarding mentally, I think.
Yeah, I liked the previous system more.
Yeah.
Because you had groups sometimes. You could play more matches. And you had friends around. And I think that table tennis players, somehow they are a bit different than like normal people. You know, you said that they have some like spark in their eyes or whatever, and I found my best friends in this sport, and to not be able to share that with them on the tour, on the VTT tour, it was also frustrating, because I like the sport, but somehow I miss that social part. Yes. So I don't know how you feel about that, but
I mean, I think I understand very well the concept of VTT and what is it heading. But what I feel is like it's too tough on the players compared to the reward that they are getting. You know, to me from outside, if I think about doing that, my immediate personal feeling like it's not worth it. But I understand that it's worth it for a few. But I think it's putting a lot of weight on the players, and sometimes I think it's difficult that it lasts long without some changes. So I see that now some prize monies are getting bigger, that they are considering to make some changes, some adaptability, because at the beginning I also had the feeling that it was everything quite imposed and they didn't want to adapt so much.
Yes, and there is no life into this. There is no life.
Yeah, your life becomes the tour.
Yeah.
Your life becomes being in a hotel and playing professionally. I think that's, in my opinion, that's not very sustainable in a long time for a player, especially if the money is not that big. So let's see how it evolves.
Yeah.
But also for me it's strange, like I follow some players because now I'm a table tennis freak, and I follow players like a fan. I follow them like a fan, you know.
Yeah.
And although some of them, they are my friends, and still I'm their fan.
Yes.
And I follow this, and I feel that you never practice, you know. And table tennis is a sport that actually it's a big characteristic of our sport is that we need to practice a lot. Because it's so millimetrical. So I don't know, for me it's a bit confusing, and somehow I'm very happy that I'm not part of that, because I would not be able to endure it, and it would be very tough for my head.
I completely understand. So when did you stop your career?
So I think my last big competition, like internationally for national team, it was Houston World Championships. So
I was there.
You were there?
Yeah,
were you playing?
Yes.
You too?
Yeah, that was so bad, but I was there.
Yeah, mine was also terrible,
yes.
Because at that time I was already not really practicing. I played Tokyo Olympics, and after that, to be honest, as the World Championships were in Houston, I wanted to play.
That's a good idea to play there. That's a good idea.
And it was also like, you know, after the pandemic, after so long time not doing much, so I kind of really wanted to play this competition, and come on, I was qualified, so I wanted to play that one. And after that, I stopped to playing internationally, but I still played a little bit in clubs. I played Greek League, that we won.
Yes, I've seen that.
After that, I also played Portuguese League, and
we
we also won.
So why stop? Why stop? You know, you can continue.
I could continue, but I felt that it was I was done in a way with table tennis, but not in a sad way, more in a way that I wanted to have a normal life. And what for me it was quite proving that because I had this feeling since long time, but was the definitive proof. It was the pandemic that I was spent home long time without traveling and having a normal life, studying some things, playing some video games, being with my boyfriend, whatever. And I was like, whoa, I really do not miss traveling.
Really?
Yeah.
You had that feeling?
I had that feeling.
Okay.
I miss people, of course, I because they are all over the world, and if I don't travel, I don't get to see them. But I don't miss to be everywhere all the time.
Yeah.
So I was having that feeling, and I was like, okay, so it's really time to stop and to have a Monday to Friday job, and on the weekends free,
Like
what
a normal people.
Like a normal
job.
people, yes. But of course, nothing comes super normal to me, and I had got the chance to work in the European Table Tennis Union, and I was like, okay, that's sort of normal because I still have to travel a little, but it's not, by far, it's not as much as I was traveling when I was a player, and it's a job, it's a serious job. So I started to do that, and it turned out that it's working quite well, I think.
But how was the transition?
For me, it was quite easy. Like really, I mean, of course, I have some trouble, like sometimes having routines in my life, because as an athlete, you always go to practice, you do all these things, and now my job, I have this amount of work to do, and I can do it anytime I want. So I was living and working from home, so I was living really without schedules, and that was a little bit tough for my brain. But I started to work on it and to impose to myself some routines, to go a lot to the gym, to work out, to take care of myself. Because
you are an organized person, right? Or not so
yes
much?
And not. For some things I'm super organized, but for some others I'm a bit chaotic. I can get easily lost in the chaos if I don't self-impose discipline.
Okay.
So for me it was a bit of work to self-impose some discipline, and I think now I'm succeeding at it. So I really miss table tennis, and I would love to continue playing.
Really?
Yes. But for me, it's where the perfectionism is coming, because to play table tennis, I cannot play table tennis bad. I want to practice. I want to play good. And I don't want to lose to people that I think like, you're not that good.
Yeah, I
You know?
understand. Yes, I know. But somehow, I don't know, because I still play for the league now, in Pro A and Champions League, and I play good. Even I practice a little, But now I was at the Olympic Games I will not be practicing for 4 months without a racket, without practice, without physical activities, So I'm curious because I don't like to play bad too, but somehow I think I can express my creativity and be different, in the hand and in the touch, and to be more me than a robot, let's say. And I'm more like that, so I'm curious. But I understand when you say that you don't want to lose to weaker people. It's bad feeling if you don't practice and give your 100% on the practice.
Yeah, I think it's also a part of pride, no? Like that you played at a certain level, and that although, like, for example, maybe my style of playing is not as creative as yours, I'm much more fixed and I follow these tactics. But still, it's true that when you don't practice so much, you get some other things that you get a little bit more creative in your head, and you can do some things that you would not do when you were practicing 100%. But still, like, you need to practice a little. And with the job that I have now, it's very difficult. It's taking too much energy if I try to practice. Because this last season I was not playing in a club, but 2 seasons ago I was. And since I got promoted and the workload got higher, it was really difficult. And also, it's not only the practicing part, but if I want to play professional, for sure I need to travel. I could play maybe in a club in Spain, that travel would mean not so much. But still it's traveling, it's not that I can play in my hometown and save some time. So I think it would be also a little bit unfair to for example, to my boyfriend, if I would start now, like, okay, so now I have a job from Monday to Friday, I work 8 or 10 hours, and then I go to practice, and then on the weekend I go to play some matches. That's not really the deal, you know, so that's why I'm not playing. But I miss it because as I said, I love the sport.
Yeah. And what are you doing exactly in ETTU? What's your job concretely? Maybe it cannot be concrete.
Concretely. Yeah, so
concrete.
I started as projects manager, so that would mean that basically I would try to do new projects concretely. That could be anything. But then I also took over development. That's basically everything what would be promoting the sport all over Europe, meaning grassroots, but also talent identification and all this. But then after a while, I also got promoted to Deputy Secretary General, what sounds like a very fancy title. But
it sounds like that.
Yeah, it does sound fancy, right? No, I mean, and it has a fancy part because like I'm part of all these, let's say, bigger strategic decisions, and I'm working with the people that is basically leading table tennis in Europe. But if you look at what I do daily for work, maybe it's not that fancy because it becomes like very administrative, like a lot of regulations and these kind of things that maybe as an athlete they don't seem as fun.
Yeah.
But still I'm like super happy to be working in sport, in table tennis, because that is a passion that drives me. And if at the end I'm sitting in my home office looking at an Excel, it's so much better than working in a bank, looking at in an Excel for a bank.
Yes. I had that for the Olympics too. I was like, okay, 2 months sitting at the desk, but it's for the Olympic Games after, so I'm fine with that. Yeah.
You know, one funny thing that happened to me now here at the Olympics, it's like, I had the chance maybe to do some work that it was like more serious than the work that I ended up doing daily, like this, doing some things in the computer, Excel. And I said, my higher ups, please no. I don't want to do that. I would rather be giving uniforms or just holding a coffee for somebody important than sitting in an office doing Excels, because that's actually what I do every day. And here in the Olympics, I wanted a different experience.
Yeah. By the way, in Olympic Games is the first, I think the first time of the history that it's gender equality between men's and women's. In the para is different, but at the Olympics it was 86 players, I think, for men's and 86 for women's. That's a good transition.
Yes.
What do you think about it, Galia?
No, I think the IOC is doing a very good job in promoting gender equality. And I think it was the first Olympics, as you said, that it was gender equal in the participation, but also they did a big step, not only in the participation of athletes, but also they are pushing from many other areas. Because, like, for example, in table tennis, I would say that although in prize money and all some things, we are still not at gender equality. At the top, table tennis, we are one of the good sports, let's say, in participation levels, in how the official prize money it is. Of course, if you go a little bit more behind and you see the clubs, what they are paying, or the sponsors, or all this, is not gender equal at all. But at least everything that was coming from the institutions, I think we're one of the, let's say, better sports at gender equality for the athletes. But if you look what's behind, female coaches, or female directives, or officials, or umpires, referees, it's like we're way behind. And I think one of the good things that IOC is doing many good things, but one of the good things that also we in ETTU were trying to take advantage of is to take example of them and to try to improve the numbers and to push gender equality in all these areas. And I think in these games in Paris, it's been an increase. I think the official numbers, they are still not published, but I heard that it's been an increase in all these areas in gender equality. So I think this is good, because I think being a woman in sport is tough for some.
In our team now in PIN 24, it was, I think, 6 women working in my team, and like 4 men. So we were higher than.
Yeah, this is nice.
Yeah, it is good.
Yeah, this is a conversation that I had with Jill, the and he told me that he was trying to be as gender equality as possible in his hires. And but it's something that also in ETTU, I think I'm quite proud of that in the staff we're mostly women, and also in the current executive board, it's mostly women. So it's quite nice to see that there are organizations like this that will. I would not say that we are pushing for women, just that it's really...
It's like this?
It's like this,
Yeah.
so it's really good. But of course, although it's something that I'm proud of, also it's when I go out there, it makes me realize that it's not at all the reality of our sport and sport in general. Because in my job, I have to deal or interact with 58 member associations, all these federations that are part of Europe. And there are not many women out there. Like really
What
not
is
many.
the percentage?
I have the Excels in my computer
Where
in
is
the
your
room,
computer?
so I don't know it by heart, but I would say low. I would say below 20% for sure. So even maybe 15%. So
Yeah.
low. Like if you look at presidents, technical directors, and what I was saying, coaches. So in my job, the people that I work closely, like the staff, there are many women. But the people that I interact outside, I'm the strange person.
And what's your plan for that? Do you have any plan or goals, or what you would like to do to
I think,
do better?
Yeah, of course there is a plan, but unfortunately, I think that this change has to happen slowly, because first of all, there is a big cultural barrier. Like here we are, you and me, sitting and talking about gender equality, but unfortunately, in some countries, this is not even a conversation yet, and we don't have to go very far away to other cultures. I'm talking here in Europe. This is very far away from happening. And then also the other thing is like the reality of participation in sport. I'm talking about playing. Is still like the percentages of women, they are still very low compared to how many men play. So I think it's only natural that later on there are many more men who are directives, coaches, presidents, etc. So I think what is a pity, because in my opinion, table tennis, a sport with no contact and with no real barriers, it's a wonderful sport for women, but it's not the reality. So I think the change has to happen from the bottom of the pyramid. We cannot artificially expect to have women at the top if there are not that many women participating. Although I think also one good thing is that we could give visibility to all these women that they're leading our sport, like Petra Sorling, the president of the ITTF, or many other who are in positions of power, to also make you believe that this is possible. Like it's a stupid thing that I say many times, but when I was a kid, I didn't know that women could be presidents of countries. I really didn't know, because I didn't know any of them. Like, in Spain or around, every president was a man. And then later on, when I was older, I was like,
it is possible.
It is possible. It just doesn't. It's not happening.
Not normal.
Yeah, it's just not happening. But of course, it is possible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And why you said that it is tough to play table tennis or to be part of the sport as a woman? You said that.
Yeah. Well, I think I have different perspectives of that. Like, first one, it was as a player. I don't know if you encountered any barriers, but me as a girl playing, and also with a playing style that it's, let's say, quite girly, I didn't have much respect from male players, from some of them. So
I remember one story with you.
Tell me.
It was in VSA. And I will not say the name.
Okay.
But I think you were defending. And one guy said that you don't know how to make defense or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think you are one of the best attacker in Europe, because you are very good with the pimple and Matti told me that after, I remember. And that's one example.
Yeah,
for example.
it's one example. I think, I don't know if it's because of the style or because of how I am, that I'm just like not a tough person.
But it's cool to be girly also, you know?
Yeah,
have a
there
girly
is nothing
style,
wrong, but
you
it's
know?
who I am. It's
Yes.
like, what's wrong with that? But I think,
We
like,
miss
yeah,
that in table tennis also.
yeah,
Some, you know.
I absolutely agree. I'm glad that you're saying so.
Yeah.
But I think because X reasons, I don't know the reasons, but some male players, they didn't really respect me much. And what is weird, because I think I'm nice and respectful to them. So that was a tough part for me. And then, of course, there is this other part that it's now working in table tennis, and what I was saying, I'm working in ETTU, and my let's say my closest circle is like super nice, and I would say it's one of the main reasons why I want to continue working in table tennis, because my daily work is super fun. But if I go a little bit outside of this circle, sometimes I have to encounter things that for me it's a shame that I have to deal still with this kind of things nowadays. Like for just to put like one example, like I'm 36 years old and I'm a woman, and most of the people that I'm dealing with, they're older men, like older. And for some of them, it's like it's not only the lack of respect that they treat you with. Before just some minutes ago, we were talking that my job has a fancy title, but sometimes they would treat me just like an assistant, and I'm not an assistant. I'm actually somebody who is quite at the top of the how to say it?
Echelle in French.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But
Stairs.
No, not the stairs, but like in the
Organization.
in the organization, in the ladder, or however you
Yes.
say it. I'm quite high for such a young person, but they would still treat me like the girl.
So why you think that? Because you're a girl or because you are young?
I think a combination of both, because in their minds and also culturally, for them it's a little bit unimaginable that a young lady can be doing serious things. And then also, of course, it's the table tennis, it's a small world, and sometimes you have to deal with rumors and people talking. And like a couple of years ago, no, not a couple of years ago, when I got promoted, because I got promoted quite early in the organization, I had to deal with people telling that, well, I got promoted because I'm sleeping with somebody in the top. And at first, this was like super funny to me because it's unimaginable. Like also because also my job is not that fancy to sleep with somebody to get it.
Oh my god. Yeah.
But after a while, this rumor started to get bigger, and I'm thankful that I have some nice friends that they would tell me, hey, I heard this rumor from this person or from this other person, and it started to make me realize that it's spread all over Europe, of people talking behind my back, that I'm getting...
It's not funny anymore.
Yeah, it stops becoming not funny, and especially like it's like I think I work hard to get the things that I do. Like I studied, and I studied quite excellent. And I feel uncomfortable. I feel quite uncomfortable to say it so, but
you can say it.
But I was like a super good student, and then before getting my job, I was in the athletes commission and I was in the executive board in EDTU. So I'm young, but I have experience, and I think I'm quite good at what I do. And then I have to have this stain in my curriculum, or like sometimes I meet people from zero that they don't know me, but they heard the rumor. So I start already from the bottom.
Yeah.
So this, to me, it hurts a lot. It hurts a lot.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no, it's horrible. Like there was like some competitions that I was even feeling uncomfortable. You are in this congress or annual general meeting and whatever, and you look around and you see all these old men, and you're thinking like,
and you
how?
feel something.
Yes,
like...
I felt even naked, because that they go to their dinners and they speak and they drink, and I started to think, I wonder how many of them heard this and how many of them believe this. So yeah, it's not always fun. Yeah, but here I am.
Yeah, you are here and you are strong and you are shining and
yeah. I think I'm quite, let's say, I'm this kind of person that when the opportunity comes, I always take it. I always take it. And I was lucky enough that the things like the ball started to roll, you know. I had one opportunity, and also the truth is that I also have people behind me helping. I think it's very healthy to admit that you have some people by your side. And I have some people that they did this little touch sometimes it's a recommendation, sometimes it's putting your name forward, you know, and these things at the end help. Because when you are in a job interview or whatever, if the person in front of you has a good recommendation, it helps. Or if you have been part, as I was saying, of the Athletes Commission, it looks fancy. Yeah. So it gives you an advantage. And I think it's a combination of both, that I've been really lucky with some people that, for whatever reason, try to help me, and I try to pay my favors back. Super. And then on the other hand, it's also who I am, that I don't say no usually.
Yeah. What you would say to a young or not young woman who has similar thoughts like yours, to help maybe her or them to overcome their fears or whatever? That's a tough one, because I don't think
that's
the moment, you know. Yes. Now I feel like
I don't think you actually you will not stop being afraid. I think, at least for me, it doesn't finish. It never stops. You still inside that little girl that is scared of do things, but you do them even if you're scared. Because what's the difference? You know, if you don't do them, you continue being scared, but just not doing them. So you just jump. You just jump. And to be also, I think one very important thing for people who is perfectionists like us is to not be afraid to fail. And for me, it's like, now that I have this job and I'm getting older and everything, I see so many people that they are not so good at what they do, and they still do it, and eventually they become better. Some of them, they never become better, but still they try. Some of them, they don't even try. So why not? Yeah. Why not? Yeah. And then also, like, for me, what helps me a lot is to listen to people who really succeed in their lives. And I'm talking sometimes top athletes, or to listen podcasts, or to people who really made it. And they speak a lot about failure, because even the people who are incredible, they still lose sometimes, or still don't. Not only now I'm speaking because I'm going back to the athlete, but still you can fail an exam or a job interview or this project not on time, you know. But what other option you have if it's not doing it?
Yeah. It sounds stupid, but it's so true.
Yeah, I think at the end it's quite simple. But also this quite simple part, it's also a difficult one, because then life gets in the way, and priorities, and also even sometimes you can have like anxiety or things that stop you from doing things. But I think even in there, to overcome these things, it's also work, and one step.
We speak about this now, and it reminds me of the end of my career. You know, I didn't stop yet. I still play Pro A, and I stopped internationally. But if we speak like that, then I'm thinking like, maybe I failed, you know, because I did really my maximum I could do. I couldn't anymore play at all. I was done, completely done. But what if I try, you know, in 1 year or 2 years, if I try to come back by being me, you know? And that's sometimes in my mind, it's like, okay, I know I can play very good table tennis, but I was not playing as Marie Migaud most of the time. I was playing for somebody else or someone else. But what if in 1 or 2 years I feel like fresh again and ready to play again, and I try again, you know? Then it means like I would really do it again and on a better way, you know? But I don't know if I really want that, but I'm thinking then I would have tried absolutely everything, even if I did already try everything. But it's coming back to my mind sometimes.
For me, what is incredible to hear you talking like this, that you had a career, you stop, but still, if you would do this, you are now like younger than I was when I played in Rio. So you really have a lot of time if you would want to do that. But if you allow me to give you an advice, like I would do that only for the process and the fun of trying it. Don't do it just because of the goal. I think that is like one of the things that is the biggest frustration for many athletes. It's like when you have this big goal in mind, and of course the goal pushes you to be better. It's important to have goals. It's the most important. But if you are doing it only for the goal, then the frustration and the expectations, it's too much. I think it's very important to enjoy the process. And if just enjoying the process and trying to play as Marimigo is something that makes you smile,
it does now. It does now.
It's something that I would encourage, of course.
Yes. And one thing, because I only played in my career, I studied, yes. I was a good student too. I was doing things good and even too good sometimes.
Well, you're clever. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. But now that I stopped and I started to work for the Olympics like 3 months ago, and I was with people who never played table tennis. In the group of people, not only table tennis people, but also other people. And I was feeling like, okay, I am Marimigo. People from table tennis, they know me. But these people, they don't know me. You know, I have kind of to prove myself to them.
Yes.
So it's, I was thinking like, but I'm only a table tennis player. You know, I did achieve only that. And when I started, I didn't have the confidence. I have more now because after the Olympics, it was an amazing experience for me. But in the beginning, I was coming to the desk and I was like, all right.
Yeah,
you know,
but I think this is like also a little bit what you say. No, you only play table tennis, or you didn't have still the time to do many other things in your life. But you cannot imagine how many things you have inside of you that you learned by playing table tennis and that you can put in practice in real life. One thing that it happens to me now often in my career, like working, is that I very rarely get nervous or stressed because like I see people stressed in some situation and I'm like, but why? Like you should try some real adrenaline in your life. This is one thing.
That's true.
I very rarely get overwhelmed with things because sometimes I have a lot of work or whatever, but it's incomparable to the weight that I was carrying as an athlete.
Totally agree too.
So it's all these learnings that you don't know. Like even sometimes I feel that life is easy now. Like doesn't matter how tough it gets. Like nothing is as hard as I was doing back then.
Yes.
You know. So all those learnings that you have as an athlete, that you still don't know that you have them, because as it's the only life that you know, you don't know that you can put in practice all these things. So don't worry, get some confidence and be like, I'm Marimigo and I know some things.
But that's so true. Like even in the morning when you put an alarm to go to practice, 7:30 alarm, you have to be ready at 9 to practice, but you have to be physically ready, mentally ready, totally focused, and then again in the afternoon and every day. And now I can put my alarm at 6:30. I get up, I go to work, and it's different.
Yeah, you can do it. You can do it.
Yes, really.
And at
That's
work
true.
also, nobody expects you to perform at 100% all the time.
And that's unbelievable.
It's unbelievable that you can give your 40% sometimes, and still it's more than some others.
Yes, that's totally true. That's totally true. But anyway, so happy to meet other people and to be part of this. Yeah.
How was it for you here meeting new people? Like, because for example, for me, one very fun thing that was when I was meeting all these new people, it was learning how they got here working at the Olympics and how is their normal life. You know, it's a conversation that I loved having with the new people I met.
I mean, they had much different life. Like all of us, we are very young. I'm not the youngest one.
Okay. Oh wow, very young.
So they are all very different. We are enjoying life like a big group, a big team without big egos, you know, like working for each other, and it's the best experience. I think one of the best in my life.
Wow.
You know, it's unbelievable, and I've lived quite a lot of things, but that's the best.
Oh, so nice.
So yeah. So, what's your future project right now? Do you like to plan it more in advance, or you go more in the flow, or like how you do it? What's your plans?
So normally, I think I consider myself a planner. I like to have a structured plan, but also life has showed me that just opportunities present themselves and you gotta take them. So at the moment, I think my plan is continue as I am because I like my job and I'm happy. But I'm not sure if I want to stay here forever. And also, I cannot know if they will want me here forever. So what I know for sure is that I like to work in table tennis, or maybe even in a broader aspect, I like to work in sport. So this is what I think at the moment makes me happy, and what I want to continue doing.
So you see yourself only in sports, right?
It's I see myself in many places, but the thing is, like, I feel that sport is somehow what I know and where I can be useful. But also, this is true that if eventually I'm not happy in table tennis or in sport, I'm not afraid to change and do something totally different, because sometimes I'm also a little bit afraid to die someday and and only have done one thing in my life. So sometimes I think that it would be super fun to experiment and do something completely different. But also on the other side, I would be sad to not be part of table tennis or sport. So we will see.
Okay, so we will see in the future then. I will come back to you in let's say 5 years, 10 years, and then we will see where you are.
Yes, exactly. Let's see where I am. Maybe I will be here, or maybe I will tell you, hey, Maria, I opened a bakery in my town.
Oh my God, that's so good. Thank you, Galia.
Thank you very much, Maria. This was very fun.
Yeah, see you later, yes? We keep in touch.
Yes.